Hi everybody, Mr. Neff here. Today I want to show you how to make a nice graph using Google Sheets. Say you had some data that you wanted to make a nice graph from, maybe you got it from an experiment. You would type that data into two adjacent columns in Google Sheets. And then you would highlight those two. And actually, before I go into it, I'm just putting X here for the independent variable. Maybe this would be force, maybe this would be acceleration, whatever. I'm just going to say X and Y for now, but you would put two meaningful names at the top there. You're going to highlight the data that you have, and then you'll insert a chart. Now Google has a lot of charts, and at first this looks good. This looks like we have a line of best fit in there, but actually all it is doing is connecting the dots. We want a scatter plot, and so down here, let me get out of our way, down here, there's a scatter plot right there, and you want this one that has the smallish markers. Okay, so there it is. That looks pretty good. Now, it's important to have axis labels and titles on the chart. And so up here, here's the title, and I'm going to change this title to something meaningful. All graphs are named the title of the lab, the title of the graph. So over here, I'm going to call, instead of calling this Y versus X, I'm going to call this the title of the lab. Okay. And then I'm also going to put in a subtitle. And now that is what's on the Y axis versus whatever's on the X axis. So here in general, we'll call this Y versus X. Okay. Now I think those are nice whenever they're centered. So I'm going to center that one, and I'm going to center the title, and that looks pretty good. Okay, the title of the lab will be at the top of the lab handout. The title of the graph, this is the title of the graph, and it's going to be whatever variable you put over here on the y-axis versus whatever variable you put on the x-axis. They always read from left to right. So it's dependent variable versus independent variable. Generally, that's the way we put them on. Now, the axes should be labeled whatever variable was on this y-axis and whatever variable was on this x-axis with the units. So you can click over here on the y, and then you can come over here and you can put in here, maybe this was in meters. So in parentheses, meters. Actually, maybe just in very general, I'll put units. And then on the x, I'm going to do the same kind of thing. X, whatever units that was in too. Now I want to put on that line of best fit or a trend line on there. And you can see that I've clicked off of that menu, and I can get that menu back very easily by just double clicking the graph. The trend line option is going to be underneath the series tab here. So I'm going to go series, and then down here I see trend line, and then here's where you could choose different things. Most of the time we use a linear, but not always. Here I am using a linear. And then I am going to say that the label is going to be the equation of it. So there's the equation right there. And so now the legend is showing the points, these darker blue, and then this lighter blue. And you can see this is, y equals blah, 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 x plus b. And so there you go. And right now we've got a good looking graph. Most of the time I want to do something with this from here. Sometimes I want to take this and I want to put it into a Sheets document, maybe my lab report. So I could just simply come up here and copy this, and then I could go over to Sheets. Here's a generic one, and I could just paste it in there. That looks good. Or maybe I want to put it into Word. It doesn't work quite as nicely to copy and paste into Word, but it's still pretty easy. You can just come here and you can download it either as a PDF or even just as a picture, this PNG. And if you do that, just let me move this down just a touch so you can see it's popped up here on the bottom. And so now if I had a sample Word document like maybe this one, maybe I wanted to put that thing right here, I could just grab that. You could take it up into Word, bring it over here, and I could drop it right there. And there we go. It is dropped in there as a picture, which then I could resize or whatever I wanted to do. Okay, I hope that video helps you make a graph on Google Sheets.